While the Texas Rangers season was over long ago, an MLB World Series champion is guaranteed to be named later this month in Arlington. Our Dusty Baker is live at Globe Life Field a few hours before the game. Hey there, Dusty. What exactly is the significance of this taking place in Arlington?
Yeah, Lauren, this is definitely a very strange environment. Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the San Diego Padres. This is a neutral site after a 60-game regular season. Remember, the start of this year was supposed to begin in March the 31st. The Texas Rangers were supposed to face the LA Angels of Anaheim, opening this brand new ballpark. Instead, fast forward now to October. Instead of having the Rangers play here, you have two completely different teams from the West Coast coming out here to Arlington to face off in the NLDS, just a couple rounds away from the World Series, and definitely a very strange atmosphere to say the least.
Where we're at right now in this postseason.
So last week, of course, was the wild card round. So the LA Dodgers hosted the Milwaukee Brewers out there. The Dodgers took 2 games out of the 2. It was a 3-game, best of 3-game series. As for the Padres in San Diego, Cardinals, and they went to game 3 of that. It was an awfully close back and forth series. And so here today we have those two teams going at it. Remember, this is playing against each other right here in Arlington. The Dodgers finished in first place this season and the Padres in second, but both teams, of course, with high hopes and aspirations to go to the World Series. And a lot of people are saying, and I firmly believe this as well, that these are the 2 best teams in the National League. And so they're going head to head, maybe a round earlier than they should, in a best of 5 series. So every game matters even more this time around right here in Arlington.
And Dusty, I know you're super excited being there right now. What is the atmosphere like right now inside and outside the stadium?
Well, first of all, outside the stadium, I walked in about an hour ago, and there weren't many fans at all out there. In fact, what they're telling me is they're expecting a larger Dodger crowd than Padre crowd, specifically because there's a lot more people from the LA area that have moved to Dallas, and so therefore the last time the Rangers hosted the Dodgers, there was a half and half crowd with the Dodgers. So we'll see what happens, but for right now it's rather calm outside. Inside though, this is probably the most atmosphere I've ever experienced in my life. World Series. Obviously very loud, very different environment here. Right now it just feels like any other game. No fans coming in this time around, mind you. Tickets are sold for the NLCS and World Series starting today, and so maybe the atmosphere next week will be a little bit louder and a little more exciting for these players, but at the end of the day, still a lot on the line. After the 60-game sprint that was the MLB season here in 2020, normally it is 152. We have the NLDS. This is following the wild card round last week, and you have the San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers right here in Arlington. The winner of this will go on to the NLCS, and then the winner of that will go on to the World Series, all of which will take place right here in Arlington. So you can say the key to the World Series trophy is indeed right here in Arlington.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Are there any fans inside? I mean, before game time.
Bob, it's definitely the most unique circumstance in terms of the atmosphere. When you look outside right now, fans are just creeping in. That these are 2 teams from Southern California. So in essence, a lot of people in this area probably don't care too much about this particular game, but they do expect quite a few fans from the Los Angeles side to show up. The Dodgers, when they visited the Rangers last season, they actually had a crowd that went almost 50-50. So they do expect a rather decent sized fan base for the Dodgers to show up at Texas Live. They have security outside right now with cops surrounding the facility as well, but at the moment outdoors, there's still not a lot of action. Remember, this is a very late ball game as well. The first pitch is at 8:38. It is the primetime show tonight. Batting practice right now. As for the Padres, they're coming up next, and then following that, it's first pitch from game 1 of the NLDS right here at Globe Life Field.
All right, you're smiling a lot there, Dodgers fans, so have a great evening, okay? Thanks a lot.
In the wise words of Vin Scully, in a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. And that's what's happened here this week for the Division Series between the San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Both teams traveling from California to Texas to play here at Globe Life Field, the brand new stadium for the Texas Rangers, and they will go in the best-of-5 series. Winner goes to the National League Championship Series, which will also take place, and that will be the first time that fans are allowed at this ballpark. This is the final series that no fans will be allowed. Remember, Globe Life Field, a brand new ballpark, has not had fans in its history so far, so this will be unique in the sense that whatever team wins, they will see their own fans in their stadium before the Rangers actually do here in Arlington. When you look at the matchup, you have two solid rotations and two dominant lineups as well. In the lineup side of things, Fernando Tatis Jr., an MVP candidate, going head-to-head with Mookie Betts, the man that came over from the Red Sox this offseason for the Dodgers. Those two definitely primed to have big impacts this time around for the postseason. In the rotation to pitch for Game 1 for the Los Angeles Dodgers, it'll be Walker Buehler, coming off an injury in which he has a blister on his finger. He's only thrown. As for Mike Clevinger, the opposing starter for the San Diego Padres, he goes into the series after not pitching in the first round of the playoffs against the St. Louis Cardinals with an arm injury. So definitely two question marks to look at rotation, but at the end of the day, these are two firepower offenses and teams that arguably may be the best team. What happened in Game 1 is that. Reporting in Arlington, I'm Dusty Baker. The Los Angeles Dodgers take Game 1 of the National League Division Series in Arlington at the new field against the San Diego. The Padres at the start of the game. Dodgers, they scored a run in the 4th inning. Walker Buehler over 4 innings on top of that with 8 strikeouts, but throwing 95 pitches in the process. As for Mike, injury re-aggravating his right arm. The Dodgers actually did not have a hit through 5 innings, but they got on the board in the 5th inning thanks to an errant throw by Jake Cronenworth a little bit past Eric Hosmer that allowed a run to score on a Cody Bellinger grounder that should have been a ground out. Ultimately tied at 1, and that was Betts got the Dodgers very first hit of the game, a double down the left field line, and then they kept things rolling. That was a 4-run inning where all 9 hitters came to the plate, and ultimately at the end of the day, the Dodgers bullpen a fantastic performance following Walker Buehler, and so at the end of the day, the Dodgers take that 1-0 series lead. Now the question for Game 2, who will be the starting pitcher for the San Diego Padres? You have to assume it probably will be Chris Paddock. The only other option, it appears on paper, would be Zach Davies. You also wonder if they do decide to take Clevinger, who has yet to make his MLB debut. Would he potentially join that roster? For the Dodgers, they have it set in stone. It will be the future Hall of Famer Clay taking the hill for the first 8:08 p.m. Central Time. Reporting in Arlington, I'm Dusty Baker. After the Dodgers' 5-1 victory in Game 1 of the National League Division Series, Kershaw on the hill to make his very first start ever in Arlington. Remember, this is the place that he grew up at Highland Park High School, and so it's a hometown homecoming for him, going up against the Padres yet again in Game 2. On the regular season was at 1.6 ERA. He went 6-2 on the season, and in the postseason, needless to say, he showed up in the wild card series against the Brewers in Game 2. 8 innings, striking out 13 in the process, and opposing him on the mound for the Padres is Zach Davies, who did not have nearly the same amount of success in the first round of the playoffs. He went only 2 innings, allowing 4 runs against the Cardinals, but in have a 2.73 ERA, a 7-4 regular season as well. So he had a breakout year in his first year in San Diego, but at the end of the day, they're going to expect a much better start from him if they have a chance to make this an even 1-1 series against the Dodgers. This game has been pushed up compared to yesterday, where it started at 8:38 p.m. Central Time. Tonight, it will start at 8:08 p.m. Central Time right here in Arlington. Reporting at Globe Life Field, I'm Dusty Baker. If you like drama, Game 2 of the NLDS between the Padres and the Dodgers was exactly what you were looking for on Wednesday night. The Dodgers with a 6-3 lead going into the 9th inning. Well, Kenley Jansen couldn't hold the lead. runs with still an out to go. Joe Kelly comes into the game and he loads the bases. Up comes Eric Hosmer, the 3-hole hitter, and he grounds out to second base, ending the threat, and the Dodgers take a 2-0 series for one final win before clinching the series and moving on to the NLCS. Home runs. Cody Bellinger hitting the first, then you had Manny Machado hitting one as well, and Eric Hosmer following that with back-to-back home runs. On top of that, Cody Bellinger, maybe the play of the game, robs Fernando Tatis Jr. of a 2-run shot in the top of the 7th inning. That might have been the deciding factor of this game. Probably one of the greatest defensive plays you will see in postseason history, and the Dodgers are able to scrap by the Padres, taking that 2-0 series lead. The Dodgers win it 6-5 in a thriller for Game 2 of the NLDS. Reporting in Arlington, I'm Dusty Baker. After an epic and wild Game 2 of the National League Division Series, the Dodgers sneaking away, and they are just one win away from advancing to the National League Championship Series, where they will take on the Atlanta Braves. For the Padres, their backs are certainly against the wall. They lost 5-1 in Game 1, as I mentioned, 6-5 in a very close one where they had the tying run at third base, the winning run at second base, but Eric Hosmer grounding out with the bases juiced against Joe Kelly. Ultimately, the Padres are now in an 0-2 hole. Where do we stand here at Game 3? Well, the Dodgers are sending Texas native Dustin May, 23 years old, to the hill. He will be opposed by 21-year-old their career in a single start for the Padres, so expect this to be a bullpen game. The Padres have used all of their relievers except for Trevor Rosenthal, their closer, this DS, and so expect him to come in at some point with their backs against the wall. They have to win this one. They have to win Game 4 as well. You would assume Chris Paddock will start Game 4, but they got to focus on today, and their only chance is and staying alive against the Dodgers is getting to Dustin May early before they get to that Dodgers bullpen that really is, for the most part, well rested. Expect Kenley Jansen and Blake Trinan not to pitch in this one. You would expect the rest of the Dodgers bullpen, though, to be available for Game 3, trying to push the Padres out one final time and advance to face Atlanta. Reporting in Arlington, I'm Dusty Baker. After what turned out to be an epic Game 2 of the National League Division Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres, Game 3 was quite the opposite. The Dodgers go on to rout the Padres 12-3. Ultimately, an early decision by Dave Roberts taking out his starting pitcher Dustin May. After taking out May, who had a clean inning of work, he brought in Adam Kolarek. Kolarek gave up 2 runs. The Padres would take a 2-1 lead, but the next inning, the Dodgers would put a 5 spot on the scoreboard, setting a postseason record for the Dodgers with 5 hits in a single game. That is one of the records that we saw today. For the Padres, they brought in 11 pitchers. That is also a postseason record as well, but ultimately they gave up 12 runs in the process. And now LA are to Atlanta in the National League Championship Series. Atlanta swept away the Miami Marlins earlier today in 3 games, and so the Dodgers and Braves go head-to-head on Monday. One place Monday, and you would expect that Max Fried will take the hill for Atlanta, and for the Dodgers, most likely it'll be Walker Buehler. Not Buehler, it will be Clayton Kershaw. Reporting in Arlington, I'm Dusty Baker.